Welcome, folks, back to Brothers and Booze. Yeah, man, we got some fun times tonight, as always. So, we got our usual lineup of beers. Greg's got his in hand. I'm gonna open one you gave me that I think you gave me from your Advent calendar.
No. That's a good one.
Oh, you think the other ones you gave me the shit ones? Okay. Oh, it's weird. It has like this freaking like pop thing. What the hell is this?
I have no idea, but it's that awkward moment when they say that shit out loud. They're not supposed to. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like a thin aluminum cap as opposed to like a thick cap. So you pull that shit off like a tab, and then it pulls the cap off.
Okay.
Cheers.
Okay. Cheers, man.
All right. Let's pour that. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, okay.
I didn't say that. You didn't see that. Nobody saw that. All right. Didn't happen.
All right. So this one just says Red Vintage, Colorado. I don't know. Apparently, it's from Spain.
Whoa. Horrible.
No, decent.
Okay.
Not great. Not great. Very middle of the road. Pretty drinkable, actually. It tastes kind of like an amber and a golden ale had a baby. That's the best way I can describe that. Like,
Okay.
Like it's not got a lot of character. There's no lingering flavor afterwards. You just take a sip and it tastes like those two things together, and then it goes away. But I'm going to say, like, if you want to drink a bunch of beer, you could drink a bunch of these.
Oh, so it's a session.
It's like drinking, I'm going to drink a bunch of beer, so I'm going to get Labatt's. Great. There you go. That's kind of how it feels. So unremarkable, but yeah. Killer Pills.
You like that?
I love the label.
So you would buy this?
Yeah, because of the label. Yeah.
Right.
I'm assuming it's a Pilsner, so that would be another reason I'd buy it.
I would say it's a bit darker than a Pils normally, actually, or maybe not.
Yeah, that doesn't look as crisp as what I would expect a Pils to look.
But I suspect it doesn't say anything on this thing here, and I was digging around before the show, so I didn't get to pull it up. But truth, keep it real here. But no, so I would suspect Killer Pills. I would suspect it's like an Imperial. It drinks like an Imperial. Crisp, nice, fruity, but not. I could tell there's a little bit more alcohol in here. I could tell there's a little bit more oomph. So while I finish that, we're going to bring on Hamilton Riley. Is my friend that I met at the Be Your Bloggers conference, which every time I mention it, I say that you need to come with me on one of them.
At some point.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get there.
Where we can all hang out again. Yeah, sure.
Right. He's from, well, he'll tell you where he's from, but he's from Virginia. Actually, I thought that he was from Northern Virginia near Washington, but I think he's kind of further out. So we'll make sure of that. But and we'll be able to talk to him about. Well, we'll talk to him now. Let's bring him on. What are we waiting for? I always stumble through this part, Doug. I got to get better. So
for the show, and then it doesn't matter.
True. What's up,
Welcome, Hamilton, man.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, man. How about you?
We're hanging in there.
That's yes. So Hamilton, what are you drinking first of all?
All right, first, speaking of Northern Virginia, they did not have a great showing when we went to see them at the Northern Virginia Mixer, but this is called Adroit Theory. They're out of Northern Virginia, and it's called Illusions of Safety. And they just released their Goes series. So this is their Raspberry and Blood Orange. Fairly straightforward, but earlier I had the Dragon Fruit Pink Guava, and then they have a Kalamase beer as well too, which they import Vietnamese fruit, which is like a cross between a lemon and a lime almost, and they use it for their Goza series. So they just released it this week, and it dropped off at my house about a week ago today. So this is the straightforward raspberry blood orange, and your Hawaii. Oh, don't even. Yeah, I know. All right. Okay. Daniel's going to say this.
Daniel,
The
drop
Hawaiian Punch.
bombs.
Okay. The story is Adroit Theory. I hyped them up the entire week, and they show up. And I was like, dude, these guys make these killer, 13, 14% barrel aged beers. And it was like they're all hardcore rocking. And they show up at this place and they basically have a Hawaiian Punch beer. And it was horrible. And I was like, I am so very sorry to lead you all on. I was like, let me show. I was like, I wish I could show you my Adroit Theory, the ones that my buddies, the other bloggers and stuff, just show you all the really cool beers. And they brought like the worst beer that they ever made. And I was like, this is horrible. I was like, I felt so bad. I sat there the entire time like, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like, and I'm having to apologize for them. And the girl that they sent was like, I don't know. This is what they sent me. And I was like, oh, great. I was like, nothing I can do about it. But yes, that's where the Hawaiian Punch is. And it has never been seen again since that event.
Doug, this beer tasted like straight up Hawaiian Punch. And
it was
again, the bad thing about it is, though, Hamilton's right. The bad thing about it was bad. Okay, that was the bad thing about it. But the good thing, the silver lining, Doug, was that it created this buzz that, again, I don't know if it overall was a good buzz, but it created a buzz where everybody had to have it, and everybody figured out who the brewer was, and it was all like, and I was running around. I was literally running around trying to figure out whether this was a real beer or not. But it took, because what happened was at the Beer Barter Conference, they drop us off at a place, and this place was great. It was a great time. What was that brewery?
We were at Rocket Frog.
Yes, and it's this beautiful, wonderful, like farm setting, and you get up to the top, and then you can see the hills, Doug. It is a place that we would love to go. They have like indoor and outdoor places. It's just a beautiful place. So in there, they had set up like a little brew fest for us, and one of these beers was that. And again, it just created this crazy ass buzz, and we were like, no, this isn't a beer, actually. Half of us did not believe it was beer. And then they literally went on our website or went into our group and was like, yes, this is a beer. We brewed it. But I think they brewed it and like just threw a whole bunch of Hawaiian Punch in it. Do you know what's going on with that?
No idea. And I've never seen, and I've been there several times. When I was I've been up in Northern Virginia, and I've never seen it. I was like, I mean, if it was something like, oh, they brought their, 12%, this, that, or another, like most breweries, everybody's got the one-offs kind of stuff. All right, got it, but it just, I looked at it and I was like, what is this? Like, why? Why are you doing this to me? Because it was like, I was like the host. It was like, I felt like, I'd been to the conference enough. Like I was like, all right, it's like if the NCAA tournament came to your town and then all of a sudden, it's like you're packed with, St. Francis of Pennsylvania, gets in the tournament. It's like, it's not my fault. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to host this thing, and I'm sitting there and it's, I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just trying to, and I was trying to be cool. Like, hey, I know here's the guys. And they had zero showing on it. And I was like, I felt really bad for everybody, but to have that kind of like cult moment where everybody was like, okay, yeah, you've got to try this, It was like, it was so bad that it was like, you got to try it. It was like, okay, I got you.
So real quick, Hamilton. So we can wash that Kool-Aid stain out of our mouth. How about that? Can you so what is that brewery? You said that they had a ghost series. So are they like a sour house, or like, let's talk about the good things about them.
Sure. Adroit Theory is it's been around for about I'd say about 5 to 6 years. They are very heavy metal themed, like the owners and all those guys really, really, really love death metal music. So a lot of their schemes and stuff like that, like even when you get down to labels, like everything is pretty hardcore. They love all their stuff. but they do a lot of very, very heavy beers, like 12, 13%, you know, and they have a huge barrel house. I mean, for a relatively their size, everything is usually cranked up a lot. Like even their like Pilsners are like 7%. Like, they do a little bit of extras to it. So a lot of the stuff is very unique. They were the first ones in the Northern Virginia area to kind of reach out and go, all right, this is going to be like really, really kind of cool, kind of stuff. We're going to kick everything up just a little bit more. But yeah, so yeah, that's Adroit right there. And they have a really good community as well too. Like everybody that belongs to their society gets to make a beer for them. So a lot of like when you look through, as you're looking through everything, they get like the best, whiskey barrels. There's a place called Concotin distillery up there. They get a lot of their barrels to age stuff in with their brandies and stuff like that. So they have like Death of Cthulhu is always like on point. That is definitely one of those. It's also like insanely heavy, like 12. They say it's 12%. I don't believe it. I mean, it's probably like 14%, and then they have to cut it because it's so heavy. But everything they do is very, very big, and it's over the top. And which is why we got the opposite of that, because it was not over the top. It was pretty middle of the road. So, but I mean, Adroit has always been good friends of ours. When I was, with Virginia Brew Review, one of the other guys and that is a member there, and he loves it to death, and we go there every time I head to Northern Virginia. It's always a stop that we go to. Always great stuff that heads out the door, but they've Adroit does a great job, and it's one of those industrial park off the way kind of places too. Like, I mean, it's not a huge setup. You drive around back, and they've got a little patio set up, and they have those huge coaling doors, and they just roll it right up and open up the brewery, and you go from there. So, typical, very for us local Virginia kind of beer places. So, so I, love them a lot. Minus one beer, and it just happened to be the one that so
we all deserve one Mickey at once, or at least one mulligan or something.
Yeah.
What's up, Doug?
So they have it looks like they have a smoked porter there, the Devil Maiden. Have you tried that?
Yes, I have. And that gets really good too, because I've got a couple of Grodziskes back here, and you get, depending on like what you're pushing the smoke through and what kind of smoke that you have, you get like that kind of different flavors. But this one gets, like rare steakish, it's got a really, really good smokiness to it. Not super heavy, but it's like seared, medium rare kind of steakiness to it, and it's got that really good savory part of it as well too. But they do a very good job with smoking it, it's not super overpowering. You get it, but it's not with you for the rest of the day, but just enough, enough.
I've had Tenebris from there. I found that it's the only beer I've ever had there. I remember getting it because the label was fucking insanely awesome. Yes. It was really creepy and cool, and I was like, all right, great, I got it. And the beer was excellent too. It's a barley wine.
Yep.
So, barley wines for me are very touch and go. Depends, how they're made, but that one was excellent. So, yeah.
So Hamilton, Hawaiian Punch. But anyway, listen, we said we're going to be positive, so let's end on a positive note. So Hamilton, let's talk about I don't know. I've been doing my Meet My Friends things vlog series that I have. I don't know if you've seen. I had Owen on and a bunch of people I'm sure you know. So I've really been, when I've been doing that, I've kind of been starting at the beginning with everybody so
Sure.
they can tell their story. So I'm just going to try to rewind you back to, because, I was thinking about this today. Like, this is a question I should almost ask everybody that comes, which is like, how did you find craft beer? Because we all grew up in, less filling, tastes great. Less filling, tastes great. So like, everybody has their own story about how they came to craft beer. So what's yours, and then lead us to how you got to talking about it on the blog and all that.
Well, it's really interesting that you say that because I actually am from Williamsburg, Virginia. So I am on pretty much like the east coast of Virginia, near the Atlantic. I live close to Williamsburg in a small town called Seaford, kind of a little out of the way. But it's Yorktown. So this is like very historical kind of area in that part of Virginia. But when I was growing up, I grew up right next to the Anheuser-Busch Brewery in Williamsburg. So I could hear the train whistle from Busch Gardens, and I could smell every morning the yeast from the brewery right next door. So when you say tastes great, less filling, they would sit on the ride and people would yell, tastes great, less filling, as they would go back and forth on the rides all day long. And my parents were like when I was 13, they're like, oh yeah, they're talking about soda. And I was like, yeah, right. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Okay. Got you. So, I mean, I grew up in, where a lot of my friends' parents worked for Anheuser-Busch, and I ended up working for Anheuser-Busch as a lifeguard nonetheless, because I worked for a subsidiary of them that had a pool, and I had to spend 3 hours of beer training when I was 16 years old. And I was like, this isn't going to save your 7-year-old kid's life. I don't know why I'm sitting here, but it's Anheuser-Busch protocol. So but flash forward a lot of years. I actually started writing. It was kind of like my outlet. I'm an engineer, and it was something that I did on the side. I actually started out as a sports writer for Fox Sports. And I would write about I went to UVA, and so I would write about UVA sports and the ACC for them. And I would do some radio shows and podcasts and stuff like that in very, very early days. And then Virginia football and basketball were not very good when I started. And no. And,
are they now?
Well, football is, but I don't know. Basketball, I guess, is
great if you like to watch rock fights where people don't score any.
Love rock fights. I've got a national championship banner behind me that says I love rock fights. So
I have a few more championships.
But but back then, basketball was horrible. Football was horrible. It was a miserable time. And the best parts of going to football was me and my two buddies sitting around our tailgate talking about Virginia craft beer. And then one day I was like, listen, I'm tired of writing about sports. I'm tired of writing about this stuff. And we would sit around and talk about, beer. And I was like, hey, I got this idea. I was like, I know how to put a website together. I know how to do social media. I know how to do all this stuff. Would you guys want to join me in, talking about beer? And so they were like, yeah, let's do that. So I put together the first site, which was Virginia Brew Review, which is how Greg and I know each other originally. And so they were from Northern Virginia and Richmond, and I was from here. So we covered 90% of the breweries in the state at that time, starting about 2014. So I was like, this is great. I was like, we got the state covered. Everybody's, we're able to hit everywhere. And it was great. And we did that for 6 years. But 6 years in Virginia, a lot has changed. There are a lot more breweries around here than we ever thought that happened. So a lot of, and then in 6 years, a lot of people had kids, a lot of people, jobs have changed and everything has happened. So in the last couple of years, I've been kind of holding things together, and it's been like, hey, let's try to do this. And nothing's ever kind of worked out. So about the beginning of the year, we kind of got the notion. I was like, all right, I need to it's like, I love doing this. It's really, I'm from here. I love craft beer in Virginia. I mean, in 6 years, it's just been an explosion. I mean, there's so many great places around here now. I mean, and destinations and places people want to go. And I was like, I still want to do that. But, the philosophy when we had it was we're going to go out and we'll review beer and do all this other stuff. But that's not really possible anymore. I mean, because a lot of times breweries that you go to, hey, try this beer that's got this, this, and this. It's available for a week. And then they never make it again. And a lot of the cool places do that. And so when you've got 30 beers and you've got to write 30 articles, by the time you get an article out about the beer that you like, that beer's gone and nobody can get it. And so nobody cares. So I was just kind of like, all right, so how can I keep this thing going? So about February, I was like, I need to start something new. So I started, the idea of Beer from Virginia, which basically now is an appreciation of beer from Virginia. It's, hey, I like this place. If you like this place, you go here. These are the kind of beers that they have. This is kind of what they're doing. And so in February, it was a great idea because it's like, hey, if I hit these places and it's not just breweries, go to these restaurants, go to these brew pubs, go to these events, go to this. These guys understand craft beer in Virginia. You got to check these places out. Mm-hmm. And now I'm kind of sitting here like, okay, this was an amazing idea. And now I can't do nothing. I can't flesh out any of it. But, but it gave me a little bit of time to be like, all right, I'm going to get everything straight. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to start, everything. And so we just launched, I just launched it about a month ago, a little ahead of the schedule. So is that a Licking Hole Creek Cardinal? It is not a Licking Hole Creek Cardinal. It is a Cardinal. Cardinal is the state bird of Virginia, but a lot of review of the logo was a lot of the preliminary sketches looked a lot like Licking Hole Creek's logos, so I made sure I kind of stayed away from it. But it is a Cardinal. It is the state bird. It is incorporated in about 13 different breweries around here, so everybody's kind of got a Cardinal. It kind of sits well. So it's close to a Licking Hole Creek Cardinal, but it is not the Licking Hole Creek Cardinal. So
that was our boy Dave Rogers, by the way.
Okay.
Dave Rogers, yes, sir. So keep going.
Yeah, that was So now I'm kind of doing this. I'm trying to, get the feet under the ground. I love living on Instagram. I love writing. I love doing the blog kind of stuff. I will write stories occasionally, but more often now this is what's happening right this second. And by the time I get to writing articles, it's usually a couple days or a week behind. So Instagram, here's what's going on. So, and so that's kind of what I'm trying to do now is here's everything that you can do right now. You need to do this right now, or you can do this right now. And so that's basically where we're at. And that's where I'm kind of at, getting this thing underway, but it's all, this is a solo thing now. Alex and Ben love them to death, but for me, it is just straight, oh man, gosh, I haven't seen him in a while, but love Penny's Pints, guys. So yeah, it's been since Asheville. It's been a little, done the thing for a while, but yeah, man, good.
Cheers.
Hear from them. So cheers.
Yeah. Doug, of course.
So it's ambitious to do something like that on your own, especially when you're doing it statewide, and especially right when this all broke, where it's like you can't go to breweries. That's not possible. So my question is it something where? So you mentioned earlier you get stuff delivered to your house. Do you try to get stuff delivered from different breweries that are Virginia breweries so that you can use them as part of, building the brand and trying to grow that?
Yeah, it's extremely difficult. It's something that, I want to cover as much of the state as I possibly can. And I want to get out and hit as much as I possibly can. I'd love to get out to Roanoke. That's a 5-hour trip one way to get out there. And, there's a really great place called Basic City, and they're on the Tennessee-Virginia border. And that's like 7.5 hours from where I live.
Wow.
And it's Virginia is extremely long, which is why between Hampton Roads and Richmond and Northern Virginia, it's about an hour up and it's about an hour and a half. So you can hit most of them, but there's so many great breweries otherwise. I have some really cool bottle shops with some really cool people that I know that get places out there. So like for me, it was when we were doing beer reviews, it'd be like we'd go there, we'd get the beer, we'd talk about it. Now with this, I've got a little bit more freedom. It's like, all right, hey, you need to hit these guys up. Go get a 12-pack and give me 2 of them and let me get stuff. And so I can kind of hit more without actually being there more, which I would love to absolutely do. But, it's, with one person now trying to encompass about 200 breweries now, it's a challenge. Some breweries do send stuff. I know a couple medium, marketing media people that send me some stuff. And, if you send, I'm just kind of at the point, if you spend the time to send me some stuff, I'll spend the time to promote what you're doing. And I'll, and I've always, and this was, during the VBR days, this, during my days as well too, now is that, there's no negative press, but if something's bad and I don't talk about it and you ask, hey, what'd you think about it? I didn't see the article. I will tell you directly that, hey, I didn't put in an article because I didn't want to tell you that it was a bad beer, but I'll go out and say, I'll tell them, I said, you got to work on it. And I won't say the name of the brewery, but they've, when they first started out, they had a lineup and they asked for suggestions and we gave them suggestions, and people around here are love to get the feedback. They did a 360 and everything worked out well. And I write about them a lot. I love going there. So, getting to breweries and talking about beer and getting places, I love to do, and I love to go out and, always, support the local breweries. But it's, right now it's extremely difficult. And, the whole nother topic of how we're doing this is great.
Hold that thought.
Holding.
Doug, do you want to hit your second one, or and do you have a follow-up to that question that you asked Hamilton?
I already opened my second one, but this is one that I was intrigued by because I went to the North Brewery, which is pretty close to my house. So you've been there with me, Greg. This one is called Berry Crunch. It is a stout, session stout made with raspberries and strawberries, which it's only 5% ABV, so it's not a heavy stout. But it's actually pretty smooth and drinkable, Greg. I think you'd actually like this one.
Really?
Yeah.
I have an issue with fruited stouts and porters.
But the stout part is actually very muted. It's mostly fruit.
Then it ain't a stout.
Yeah, but it's you get a little bit of roastiness, but that's actually just kind of a hint as opposed to the fruit. So
well, and it's that brewery too. They do crazy I learned.
Yeah, that place does a lot of crazy stuff, and that's one of them. And I was like, well, I'm going to try it because one, it's a local brewery. I because they make weird stuff, I want to see them keep going. So, yeah. What do you got, Craig?
This is peanut butter and jelly Sunday sour, and from Drecker, which is a Midwest. It's a Midwest. What's the word I want to use? It's a regional. People love it. It's Drecker has a name for itself. I see Hamilton nodding his head, so he probably either had some or knows what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Peanut butter and jelly. I have a complicated history of peanut butter and jelly. I really used to like peanut butter and jelly, but then I got it every single fucking day in my lunchbox. So I absolutely just totally hated peanut butter and jelly at the end of my school life, and I still blame my mother for that. And no worries, she don't watch this shit. So anyway,
why are you giving me shit for the peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah, right. And tuna fish sandwiches too. Anyway, look at this bad boy.
Oh wow, yeah.
Ooh, look at the color on that, baby. That looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so
The glassware is
this,
exceptional
this
too.
tastes like a tarty peanut butter and jelly. I'm sorry, it smells like it. Look at that head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot of fruit. That's a lot of fruit.
This is that's a lot of, right. So here we go. Here we go.
Mm.
More jelly than peanut butter. Peanut butter at the end, jelly, and like Hamilton said, fruit up front. Very tardy at the end. A little subtle peanut butter. I mean, you have to look for it in the end, but it's more fruit. This reminds me of like a fruit smoothie. Like your wife ever makes smoothies, Hamilton, or you ever make smoothies and you like you put them in?
Oh, I know. Well, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah, it's
we've got breweries around here that do that all the time. That is the current rage in Central Virginia right now.
Again, I wish there was more peanut butter. This is more jelly than peanut butter. I wish there were more peanut butter at the end, but I don't know how you could get peanut butter. Like, I don't know how this beer can find a balance, if you know what I'm saying.
How you could push through the peanut butter through the amount of fruit.
All that fruit. Right.
That would be really hard.
Good beer. This is fun. It's a good beer.
Yeah.
I want to finish it. It's not too tardy though, Doug. It's more fruity. Okay. I mean, there's a tart ending to it, but I think the peanut butter kind of took out of that tart. This is real. I don't know. This is an interesting one. It's complex. If I was out with you guys, I wouldn't probably drink more than like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's a good one. I don't know, Doug. I should try to find one and get you one. I don't even know.
I'd be down.
I'm gonna go grab beer number 2 real quick. So
grab beer number 2.
So the thing is, but I don't mind the tart. I just don't care for the sours. You know what I mean? Like, so the tart part I probably would really like. And like you, I'd want to have a little more peanut butter because I'm a big fan of peanut butter. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to make a tart one that's jelly style, again, I don't know how you would get the peanut butter to come through without it tasting like artificial. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, it's there, but you have to really like, if you guys know what I mean, look for it. Wow, this is vastly different than
that first one.
Look how thick that shit is.
I know. Yeah, it does look like a smoothie with how thick it is. So yeah.
Oh, it drinks like one until the peanut butter. And I don't know, people put peanut butter in their smoothies too. So
why not?
I guess it says peanut butter and jelly Sunday sour.
What about the Sunday? What about the Sunday part? Where are they getting that? Because Sunday implies to me like whipped cream and shit like that.
Yeah, I'm not getting any of that. But I don't know. So gimmicks. It says gimmicks: peanut butter, plum, raspberry, black currant, and lactose. So I guess the lactose part.
But are you getting any lactose out of that? Okay.
No, but this thing's this is thick. It's a thick sipper, man. So I believe it's now time
for our sponsor.
That'd be you. Apparently I'm the sponsor now. So hey, I just want to say, come check out my, site, beerfromva.com, Beer from Virginia. It mostly we're mostly on Instagram. Come check out where we're at and where I'm drinking beer from and get stuff. But because everything that's been going on, I just want to shout out local breweries. I mean, support what they're doing, support everything they're doing. If you've got, it might cost a little more right about now, but these guys are not working at capacity. They're not, they're still trying to keep a business going forward. And it's not just, when things get back to normal, there's a big runway past it too. So go out to the places that you love, find out ways you can help them out right this second. And, just help them out of what they're doing. So I mean, I'll do a shout out for them right now. So help out your local places. I mean, that's the biggest sponsor right now that I think anybody can do. So
cheers. Cheers. So what do you so great follow-up question and segue is what's going on around your area as far as beer? We've talked to people who have said that they've opened up delivery to their house. There's different contactless stuff, curbside, order online, put in your trunk. I've seen we've heard people drive-throughs where a whole bunch of breweries get together and you drive through. You seeing any of that? All of that? What's going on in Virginia there?
In any and all of that, kind of like the short history of Virginia and alcohol is that we're the moonshine state, and so when Prohibition hit, they put down a bunch of laws that basically turned the three-tier system into a lockdown. You have to do this kind of stuff. There's a brewery that opens up their own restaurant and they have to sell a beer to somebody else to get it back to the restaurant. I mean, it's the antiquation of Virginia breweries and the laws that they have to go through. It's just, it hurt. I mean, it still hurts to this day, even though about 5 years ago, a lot of that stuff went away, but there's still stuff that's buried in the mythos of Virginia breweries that people just kind of play by. Right now, a lot of that is just kind of being like, hey, we're trying to help you out. We're going to allow you to do this. So you're getting to-go orders. You're getting, ABC kind of off, what we call around here. You can get you can get 6-packs and crowlers and drive up and do all that stuff. You can get beer deliveries. Breweries have different delivery zones based off a location. They're all doing deliveries. The biggest thing right now is that they've allowed shipment within Virginia of their beers. Normally it was reserved for breweries direct to wholesalers or like bottle shops and stuff like that. Now they're allowed to do that to individuals. I have been taking advantage of that a lot because my particular area where I live is I miss a lot of delivery areas, even though that I'm probably metrically closer to breweries than they're allowing to deliver. So a lot of the beer that I'm getting and I've been showcasing over the last 3 weeks has been UPS to my house from breweries that are now starting to ship, which has been great. It is in no way cost effective for them. They're, but they're trying to move some product and stuff like that. I put the call out on my Instagram feed. If you're shipping, I'm buying. So I have bought from every place that said, hey, I've got beer on there. And some people have got some great infrastructure, like here, check it off, get some bottles and stuff like that. Some people, next to the hoodies and their stickers, they throw in a 6-pack and you just got to go through their merch store and find it. And I was like, all right, yeah, I don't need this, but yeah, I got your 6-pack right here. And I've done that too. As long as you say you're able to ship, because nobody wants to come out to the sticks where I live. And so it's like, okay, but the UPS guy does, and Greg does an amazing job. And he doesn't ID me anymore. He just waves to me from his truck. And I was like, yep, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Don't need to show ID anymore. But the biggest thing for us right now, and the biggest thing in Virginia has been, okay, what kind of runway and what kind of ending, will this continue moving forward? You just can't be like, all right, people are going back to bottle shops and people are going back to having, going to the breweries. They still need to recoup all that money that they've lost. You just can't cut that back off. And is this going to be a topic of debate in, legislation around Virginia, and be like, listen, there's some things that, while you've afforded some things to people now, these are commonplaces in a lot of different places. Why can't we, get with the times? Nobody's running shine off the Appalachians anymore. You know, I mean, they are. I mean, I can get it now because you can get liquor drinks, and I know where to find some. But it's not the widespread problems of the 1920s around here. You know, this is 100 years later. You know, let's make some modern laws and update it, and let's make some changes based off of the relaxation from it. You don't have to keep everything, but let's make some affordability for people so that breweries can find the time to do stuff if they would like to do it.
Yep. So what did you grab for your second beer? We didn't even get to that.
So and back to the topic. So a lot of the breweries around here, they're missing some festivals. It's early festivals in, April and May festivals. They brew all this beer for, and, they can't have the festivals anymore. So there's a company in Virginia Beach, and they said they delivered, and they delivered to my area. And since I'm in the sticks, I challenged them and said, okay, you deliver? Come on out to my area. So they did, and they came all the way, and I will shout them out all day long. So this is Commonwealth Brewery. They're in a little place called Chicks Beach, Virginia Beach, which is the northern part of it. And Commonwealth has probably one of the better sour programs in the state. But they also do saisons, and saison day was supposed to be tomorrow. So so as part of their whole thing, they were like, "Listen, we're not having saison day, but you can get a saison day pack, which has all the beers that were supposed to come out that day, and they will deliver that for you." So, yep, Chicks Beach, and that's about as Virginia Beach as you can get right there. A Woody with big tires. Oh yeah, and so we had somebody come out, and so but they did a huge collaboration with and I'll show it in a second. But they did a huge collaboration with Allagash out of Maine, which of course is a huge saison sour company, and they do legitly good sours in Commonwealth, and they do legitly good sours in Allagash. So I am drinking their collaborative beer that was supposed to come out this weekend, and it is funky, and I love it to death. It's super, super sour. They also do a great oat brewing, and it is hard around, I mean, especially in Virginia, to find the Belgian, Eastern European kind of style, and they do an amazingly good job of that. So a lot of the stuff that they do, the Black Saison is great too. Oh yeah. So they have a very, very keen knowledge of old world styles of beers, which is where I got the Grodziska from as well too, which is a smoked wheat beer. It's a Polish style that a lot of people don't do, but they do a lot of wild and funky beers. And I mean, to have a place that's close enough, but I can't, and it's, and I used to live, and the crazy thing is when I first got out of school, I used to live 2 minutes from the place, and they were just starting out, and I left and they got big, and I was like, why can't I move back there to be right next to them and go there every day? I mean, it's just the beer that they pull out. And of course their IPA program is top notch. As far as Southside is concerned, they're in the pantheon of great IPA makers as well too. So they have done a really, really cool job, and I, I grab them as much as possible, but I will always grab anything from their foeder and from their sour program as well.
Dang.
Sweet. Well, not sweet because it's sour, but anyway. Well, when you're talking about Allagash too, we just had Maine Beer Babe on here last week, and she's talked about Allagash. Allagash is their Curio, as her and I agreed, that's kind of our big, but Allagash makes a lot of Belgians, so I could see how that brewery and Allagash would collaborate, because it kind of seems the same wheelhouse.
Yep. So yeah. So this is the Allagash Commonwealth Brewing collaboration that they were supposed to release tomorrow. that I'm enjoying tonight. So
Look at you ahead.
but the nice and they were one of the two places that cheers
Cheers,
and
Rod.
one of the two places that delivered to my house, and I had to put it on a schedule because they will Chicks Beach. Chicks Beach is the locals beach. Virginia Beach is very, very huge, and it kind of goes across and it goes down, and everybody sits on the downstrip. I mean, that's where you're for your college partying and stuff like that. But Chicks Beach was the locals beach, and that was like if you knew where to go kind of place, Chicks Beach was the cool place to hit. And they had a couple of small little restaurants, and Commonwealth had just started there. But Chicks Beach is kind of like the inside it. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, Brandon's from Virginia.
All right, cool. Yep. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so Commonwealth has kind of been like the Chicks Beach brewery. So that is, and they even started a separate sour house, just for the old world fooder kind of style, old school bacteria aging and the etching and stuff like that. They've got a fooder house separated from their other facility as well too. So they were the first people in the state to actually do that. So they're kind of ahead of everybody down there. And it's always warm enough in Virginia Beach, and the wind's coming off the water that you can kind of get some really good funk going. And I love a good funk beer as well too.
Well, cheers to that. So, Doug, I have the question that we have to ask every single guest.
Here we go.
Before our third beers. So, Hamilton, this is a fairly simple question, but people really struggle with it. Do you sleep with a top sheet?
Define top sheet.
Okay, so you have your fitted sheet on your bed, right?
Done.
Then you have the top sheet, which is that thin sheet that goes in between you, that should go in between you and a comforter.
No.
Well,
I'm virtually high-fiving you from New York, baby.
Why? Does the wife?
I have my reasons, but
because there's a comforter, and my wife keeps it at 68 degrees no matter what season it is. So I always need a comforter. Okay. And for me, that's all I need.
But why don't you need a top sheet in between?
Why would I need a top sheet between?
I'm not doing this with you two.
No, for me, I did this is because every time I have a top sheet, I end up getting wrapped up in it, and I fucking hate that.
No use for it.
I feel like I'm getting put in a straight.
You gotta wash two sheets. I mean, so you gotta wash two sheets versus one.
No, you wash the fucking top sheet, and you don't have to wash the comforter all the time.
Yeah, really? You think that's an impenetrable?
Wait. When you have someone who's a top sheet guy, you spend 10 minutes talking about the top sheet because you don't. I see how it is.
I'm not doing this shit with you. I'm opening up my beer. Fuck you guys. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, you can be wrong. It's fine.
I don't know how the weather is up there, but the weather around here goes from 80 to 40 this time of year. So
yeah, same here.
I don't know.
It's snowing right now at my house.
It's supposed to rain. I mean, it was 75, 80, and then it's going to drop down to like 50 tomorrow.
And Doug, it's snowing, so you should snuggle up with a fucking top sheet, Doug.
I snuggle up with the and I am a furnace when I'm under the blanket, so it's not cold.
Anyway,
what you got?
I thought you were top sheet gang, Hamilton. Apparently, you're not. So
I'm not.
What's going to happen is Greg is only scheduling people who are top sheet people. That's how it's going to work.
As far as this issue goes, you're dead to me.
That's fine. I'm cool with that.
You and Greg will never sleep in the same bed together.
Right. We will never sleep together, Hamilton.
Anymore. Gotcha.
So anyway, I'm going to a big ass double IPA here.
Oh man, look at that.
Juicy thing here from Hacienda Beer Company. If you were anywhere in Wisconsin, you know Hacienda. They came out of nowhere. They're one of these breweries that I don't know if you guys have one of them where they're Door County, and then for some reason Door County wanted to make another brewery, like so they made Hacienda, and like Door County's like they do like regular traditional styles, and then Hacienda does like the quote crazy stuff like the hibiscus double IPAs and the juicies and the
wicked weed funk house kind of stuff.
kind of yeah like where I think what they wanted to do, because what Hacienda ended up coming out with again, big juicy IPAs and like hazies and New Englands, and I think they just wanted to kind of separate that and like keep Door County with like your traditional porters and stouts and
okay.
They put Hacienda over here where they're like almost experimental. So
a lot of things in Virginia has been more of a, if you're going to have a second location, it's going to be like a brew pub gastro place. Like we're going to serve food and have like a 5 BBL system that makes only special beer here. But there's never really been like, we're going to have 2 separate facilities. They're going to be 2 separate things. It's going to be like, we're going to have little pilot houses around.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, I guess part of it, is part of like, once a brewery's around a while, you what that brewery does.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to like, remember Hamilton, did you get to, were you at the Guinness Barrel House?
I didn't do the Guinness Barrel House,
okay.
So.
Well,
but I've been there before, yeah.
Yeah, part of the thing, like when we went there and we had a good time there, part of the thing was like, they were explaining to us about their problem that, their problem is that it's bad. It's a good problem to have, but their problem is that their main brand Guinness to a lot of people is just a beer, not a brand, and they want to make it a brand. So like this is what I think with Door County, like because a brewery comes out and they get after a while they get their own reputation, like that's an IPA house, or I even told Doug I was like, oh, that's the North, they do crazy shit. Like every brand gets their own, and it's hard to get out of that then.
Yep.
So I think when they went to Hacienda, they were just like, we can keep Door County over here, and it has a good brand. Don't get me wrong; it's not that it's good or bad. It just has its own like people think of it. I would never think of like Door County with like hazies and all that. I think of Door County like they have a nice porter that's just a straight up porter. You can get it every time. You know what it's like. They got a nice IPA, straight up IPA. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not anything. So I think that's what they were doing there. But it's just interesting how brands work. And sometimes you just gotta like, you know what I mean? Sometimes, I have this one here. These guys, they used to be Octopi, this glass here, and now they are. I'm sorry, it used to be Third Sign, and now they're Octopi.
Yeah, I don't think any place in Virginia is like that, like where they've had 2 separate places under the same tree.
Yeah, that's right.
Most places, actually probably the most famous example has been on, if you're in the craft beer world, there's a place called The Answer. It was a brewery that was opened up in Richmond, Virginia. But yep, there you go. And The Answer. It started out as Mekong, which was literally a Vietnamese house, which has amazing food. But he would always have beer from places where you were like, how do you get this?
Oh, right.
And On was like, listen, I can brew my own beer and have an amazing amount of cool other beers alongside of it. You're still going to drink my beer and you're still going to drink that beer. And everybody kind of said, okay, yeah, go ahead and try that. Goes out first year, wins gold in the Virginia GABF, for his IPA, set off the IPA movement in Virginia. And, The Answer just kind of rolls right, from there. But that's the kind of stuff that happens in Virginia. You're this, and you're going to open up another house that does this. I've got another one in Williamsburg. Actually, I picked up Shrimp and Grits from today. It's called Amber Ox and Precarious Beer Project, and they split off, but Amber Ox still brews their own beer. Precarious brews their own beer. They still have other people's beer, and it's just a fun place to go see that. I am so upset that I can't go there because they have a German beer hall with street tacos and
wait, what was the Shrimp and Grits?
Oh, they do Southern food. Oh man, I got Michelle got 2 quarts of collards. I got whiskey, apple butter, and pimento cheese, and biscuits, and shrimp and grits. And I got they made a Baltic Porter chili that their special today was it's a beef and bacon Baltic Porter chili, and you get a crowler of the Baltic Porter, which is sitting right there for tomorrow because I'm letting that thing marinate overnight, and I'm going to have that chili tomorrow. So I'm going to have the Baltic Porter with the Baltic Porter chili.
That Baltic Porter chili sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, I love a Baltic Porter.
That doesn't sound very
that deep
Baltic
fruit,
Porter
that
chili.
deep plum, that really kind of like base, to it. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
My wife will sleep downstairs tomorrow night because that chili's going to be great, but I'm going to love it to death.
Wait,
But I'll post about it tomorrow.
You sleep in the bed. How did you work that arrangement out?
Well, I mean, I don't have a top sheet, so I don't know how we can separate from each other. But
Well, get one. Listen, what do you do with it anyway? You get a top. I'm not even.
got him. So
I do have to shout out. Hamilton's wife is one of the most nicest people I've ever met in my whole life. She's fantastic, and I love her. Cheers. Absolutely. Michelle is one of my favorite people that goes to these things. She's just really nice to talk to.
Michelle is a saint. She puts up with all of my junk. I've got a Ring doorbell, and the people come and deliver beer because she has to work from home, and I know she works from home, so I have no problem with her delivering it. And I can just see on the Ring doorbell, she's like, I have no idea what the order is. Just give it to me. Because she's like, I understand my husband has ordered this beer. I can't verify the order. He just does it. And she is a saint. She just picks it up and puts it in the refrigerator and says, your beer is here, I guess. And I was like, all right, I know it's fine. So she's been a trooper the last 4 weeks, for it. So
baby.
Are we ready?
I am. This is the cellar one that I have.
All right, I'm going to go grab my third beer real quick. Give me about 2 minutes.
Do that. So basically what I got here is I had this on the show before, Greg. This is the $4 Russian Imperial Stout I had. That was a 16.9 6 or 1 pint. So it's 16. It's 1 pint and 0.09 fluid ounces. So I think 16.9 is what they call it.
Uh-huh.
So this is the Russian Imperial Stout from Comus. I aged this for over a year. I put it in my cellar in March of last year. So I'll be curious how this is. This is one that I've been because of the price point of it. I was really jazzed to get it, and then I was even more interested to see how it would age. So
for the record, you've had this. You had one at Cellar One.
Yeah, I had one of these on the show, and I was like, everybody was kind of like, I could get a Polish Russian Imperial Stout for $4. I'm like, yeah, this one, and it was great fresh. So I'm curious how it's going to age.
Okay.
It's a Russian Imperial Stout. I would suspect it would age well, but that baby, ooh yeah.
Yeah, and the reason I asked is so we can get a contrasting. Of course, you already know as a cellar, it's about getting that contrasting taste there.
Yep. It smells roastier than what it did fresh, for sure. Ooh. So it's much smoother than what it was when I had it fresh, and it was fairly smooth then. Which is interesting because it's 12% ABV. So it touts itself as intense roasted flavor. Fresh, definitely super intense roasted flavor. The roasted stuff kind of goes away on the palate, but is very present on the nose. But it's boozier. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the problem with this is if I had like 3 of these, I would drink all of them. 3 cellared ones, and I'd be laying on the floor of my living room.
So that's a problem?
I'm just saying that's how I was surprised it aged that well. It's really, really super.
Wow.
For $4 for that bottle, I mean, that's crazy to have a bottle that's that size and get it for $4. And it's great fresh. It's even better cellared. I'm gonna go get more of that.
Well, for $4 come on now.
Yeah, I think it was $5. I think it was $5 when I looked last time. Look at that, Hamilton.
Yeah.
What you got there, dude?
Mm-hmm. Looks tasty as fuck.
All right, since I can't just tell a simple story of like this is what I'm drinking, so I'm gonna shout out Hardywood in Richmond, Virginia.
Hardywood.
Hardywood makes great beer.
Let's pull
Hardywood kind of exploded onto the scene probably about 6 or 7 years ago. They started making stouts, and for this being a stout heavy kind of place, Virginia has won a lot of GABF medals for stouts, but the first people that actually started doing it was Hardywood, and Hardywood won for the raspberry stout, which I've always said has been like a raspberry floating on a chocolate pillow. And it really is. But what has made Hardywood the cult, kind of like the Richmond cult, has been what's called GBS, and it's called Gingerbread Stout. And they source all of their vanilla from Madagascar. They source all of their ginger. They source all of their vanilla. They source all of the stuff, and they make this amazing gingerbread stout. And GBS it used to be this huge release where people would line around the block for 3 nights to wait in line to get the gingerbread stout. Over the last 7 years, it has morphed into this huge tradition, and they've been like, well, we just can't do gingerbread stout anymore. So this year they did what's called the collection, which was a 11 bottle release where you would get a ticket, and as you can see here, a variety of different GBS bottles that you got in this collection. This is not available any longer, or they might have released a little bit more, but this is Christmas pancakes. So this is their GBS with milk stout, spices, honey, and maple syrup. I have not had this yet. I kind of have been saving it for a special occasion, but as we are here on a stout, okay.
Their peach triple I've had. Their peach triple is really
the peach triple is amazing. Their Baltic porter, by the way, I sent one up to and Greg knows him, Dan up in New York. He opened it up and he was like, this is insane. And I've had this since November. I have a GBS vertical downstairs that I'm saving, because everybody knows that I'm a beer guy. So everybody gets me a bottle of gingerbread stout. I cellar a lot of them from a lot of years, and I have a lot of that. Actually, by the way, since you're right there, that cream ale, there's a great story before I drink this. So the cream ale from Hardywood, this is a great, interesting story. Virginia was the first state to can beers. And Kruger out of New Jersey contracted Richmond to can up, and you can read the whole thing. Yeah, 1935. They asked Richmond to can their beers, and Richmond, being the industrial city as they were, they did. So the cool thing about it is the Hardywood Cream Ale. If you look at the back of the can, it actually has instructions of how to open a can of beer. And the reason they do that is because when canned beer came out in 1935, nobody had any idea how to open a can of beer. It was like everybody got growler fills and kegs, and they got it from tap and everything. Nobody knew how to do it. So there was instructions on the can of here's how you open this, and here's how you open this, and the punch with the old church keys, how to open it up. So in tradition, Hardywood on the back of their can says how to open the push top label for it, because this is the original, the actual authentic recipe that Kruger gave Richmond to brew beer. So that's a great story.
Great
But this
story.
beer,
I want to have that too.
oh my gosh.
Hamilton, send me some of that cream ale.
Absolutely. I'll get Michelle on it.
And
We send snow globes. Now, let me tell you about this one. They call it Christmas pancakes. The maple syrup is like everything else that Hardywood does. It tastes so authentic. Like you're sitting at a pancake house and you've just gotten that syrup, that really good thin syrup layer. Not like the stuff that you get at home, but like that really good thin, syrup, and you just put and you pour too much of it on. But you know what? It doesn't matter. That's what this tastes like. There is a lot of maple syrup in it. But you know what? There's a great stout behind it. The base and when we used to rank beers, we would say, how's the base and how is it augmented? The base is the GBS. It is as smooth and as sweet as it always is. But then they just basically took maple syrup like you would on a set of pancakes, and they just poured it right over top of it, and you just sliced up about a 5 stack and just jammed it in your mouth. That is what this tastes like.
Yum.
It tastes like you've just got a huge, I'm a big guy. I don't care. I got a 5 stack, but it's like you just get this huge, like soaked through, maple, pure maple syrup, and yeah, I mean, it's, and it is a special occasion flight. Daniel, you've already gotten the Baltic Porter. Please do not, no complaints from him.
Oh, I don't think he's complaining. Yeah. He's so here's a question.
Sure.
I love me some nitro stouts. So
Hamilton.
I'm sorry. I heard I love what?
one of the comments up on the screen is, what do you guys think of nitro stouts?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. You were.
Oh, there we go. What do I think of nitro stouts? I'm cool with it. I like that people are starting to do it. There's not a bunch in Virginia that go on nitro. There's a few people that do, and it's, the problem is everybody compares it to the nitro stout, which happens, is a Guinness. I like the creaminess of it. I love, the thickness of it. But if I have a nitro stout, you've got to be something different. It's got to be, if you're nitro pushing something, don't do it for the novelty of it. You've got to have a really good beer that it enhances, that nitro specifically enhances. And I've seen a lot of beers like, you can get this on nitro. And I'm like, why? I enjoy it now. I mean, nitro is not going to help it any, I mean, I love, to be honest, I love a Boddington's, Boddington's, it pushed nitro. Awesome. But, don't just push a beer nitro because you can. Do it because, listen, nitro, this beer is brewed to have nitro on it. And this is what's going to do it. If it's just like, I'm going to release this and then I'm going to put it on nitro,
Man.
Sure.
I had last Friday, I had a nitro cold brew cream ale from New Belgium.
Yeah.
And every single one of that 6-pack was flat. Now, that's not the brewery's fault.
Is it?
Any number of things, but
Are you
like
sure?
that's a problem. Well, it could have been, but like every single one, I was like, remember I said before the show, Jill and I had one, and Jill was like, I poured it just none of the like you want that nice sound, you want the creaminess, you want all that, you want the head to come out, nothing. And then I have another show, and it was the exact same thing. And then 2 days later, I had two more, and they were just flat. And I was like, well, if I want fucking flat beer, I can get flat beer.
Yeah, I love and I am a cold brew drinker. I love cold brew coffee. Love it to death. And if and I have no problem with them putting it on nitro. I will drink it either way, but it's the same. I look at like coffee roasting in that same point as I do with beer. If nitro is if you make a beer that is supposed to be on nitro and that's what you're going to do it. Don't release a beer that you can find on tap and then be like, here's the nitro version of it. You're not making that beer for nitro. Make a beer for nitro, do it straight, and that's what it is. Outside of that, there's you want that if you want that to impart that in creaminess and you want to impart that, do it there. Don't mess around with the rest of it. So
I will give you an exception to that because I agree with you largely. Is Southern Tier Brewing, which is a brewery.
Southern Tier.
They make great dessert beers, and this past year they decided to start taking those beers and make nitro versions of them. And I have not had a bad one. They've all been excellent. But like I agree with you, usually if you make a beer, it tastes a certain way, and if you put it in nitro, you're not getting a difference in flavor. You're just getting a difference in texture, which can be cool. Greg, sorry.
No worries. No worries. I was just gonna.
You're going to make a point. You gave me the teacher finger.
No. I was like, I put my finger up so I remember, like I can remember what I was thinking about, so I can follow up on you. But what I was gonna say is, I don't know if to Hamilton's point, we don't know whether Southern Tier is even tweaking their recipes for the nitro.
Good, absolutely.
Because
Doug
is right though, because they're killer.
Yeah, because I've sent him. What was the one I sent you? The milk chocolate one, and it tastes like fucking milk chocolate. It's awesome, and you go and you got that frothy stuff, and it's just delicious.
Great, yeah.
But for the most part, I agree with you, Hamilton. That if you're gonna make one beer, don't make a nitro version of it unless you can just fucking knock it out of the park.
And Southern Tier is so big too. I suspect that they're doing some testing on that. And tweaking and shit. Like they're so big and they're so fucking delicious. And they do it on a big scale. So I suspect, but you know how that goes.
Gotcha.
But, do you have a follow up to anything Hamilton was saying there? Or are you dead?
I'm good, man. This has been fun, and it's cool because I don't know a lot about Virginia beers. Also, I will say the answer made me think that was a play on Allen Iverson, who is a Virginia sports god. So I thought that's what that was. I didn't realize that is it? Or
no, it's not.
Okay.
But I have seen Allen Iverson in person. My high school football team was not very good. Actually, extremely poor. We used to see a lot of people come through that were basketball and football stars that would run over top of us. And I saw Allen Iverson do that to us because I went to school in Williamsburg, and we were known for soccer and golf. And we were not known for basketball or football. So a lot of the really cool players from this area, Ronald Curry, Allen Iverson.
Curry was Curry was he before or after Iverson?
Curry was after.
Yeah, because
about a year and a half.
Curry being like the guy that everybody thought he should play football as opposed to basketball.
And they he was supposed to come to Virginia, and he ended up going to Carolina. Which is still a point of contention, let's say 23 years later.
I love it.
Because he was my class. And when we got to UVA, there were jokes about people putting signs up that said reserved for Ronald Curry, and there would be seats there, and it wasn't for him because he didn't come, which was fine. I mean, at that time, Virginia was okay in football. Actually, they were pretty good in football. So, but we saw, but yeah, we got and there were a lot of local heroes that, came out of a lot of the places that weren't our school. So we lost a lot. And that was fine because I was in the band. I played halftime, and that was the only reason I was there. So I was like, I'm going to go out there and strut my stuff. And then you know what? We're just going to play every time they score a touchdown. So it's okay. So we lost a lot, and but which was okay.
I love these things because I find out more, not more, but I find out a lot about my friends when they come on here that I didn't know. And I knew nothing about your history as a background, your background as a sports writer. That's fascinating to me. And we should just have you back on just to talk that.
I mean, I will talk. I talk sports all day long.
If you could,
I still have my hand. I still rep the handle for my sports day, which is called Lambeth Field, which is my personal Twitter, because I will not give it up because I love it too much. I still talk sports because Lambeth Field was the original football field at UVA, so I still rep football. I mean I've had season tickets through the 2 and 10 seasons up to this year, which they went to the Orange Bowl, and you know what? They covered the spread, and that's all I cared about. I'm glad they did that, and I rep. I used to do weekly radio shows about baseball because they won a national championship in that, and I was on the forefront of that. And I used to do radio.
Aren't they excellent at
lacrosse? They're still national, and actually we are still now, because of everything and everybody closing down. We are now national championships for 2 years running in men's basketball and lacrosse because we're still national champions.
We're not going to hold the net back.
Oh yeah, I'm one more year. It's fine.
Fine. Again, who else is there, Doug? Come on now.
Nobody's dethroned us.
Right.
The coronavirus. Because
they're not.
The coronavirus is a champion.
Well, they can't send it out to Wuhan, so we're just going to keep the trophy with us. And we have. And actually, I went to the last game when we beat Louisville at UVA. We still have the floor hanging in our from last year's national championship. We still have it hanging up there, and you know what? For all the stuff that we had to have with that happened to us the year before, we're going to milk this as much as we possibly can,
Yes,
absolutely.
I appreciate you guys beating Louisville.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I have no
go, Doug.
And because Louisville, because
Maryland, as far as I'll go,
because Maryland left the ACC, Louisville is now what they call our national rival. So we have to play them twice, no matter what, in every sport. So if I beat Louisville, I am happy as a clam of beating them because they're not happy about it. We're not happy about it either.
So like beating them, you could say you beat a ranked team, a number one ranked team.
Mm-hmm. And we've done that a couple times too.
Yeah,
well,
Man. Oh, so we are an hour and 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, see. So I tell you, man, this shit's important on this show.
Yes, I'm telling you. You already mentioned Paul.
Paul, they've answered
I got a running mate in the no top sheet.
No top.
I think I'm going to run for president in 2024, and I'm going to take Hamilton with me. We're going to be the no top sheet party. That's going to be our whole platform.
And you will lose.
We won't.
So Paul, to answer the question, Hamilton does not do the top sheet, and he's wrong. Okay, cool. Next. So, Doug, we have to. It was funny because I said it before. Doug and I were talking about Hamilton a couple of weeks ago. We're talking about doing something at the end of the show where we ask, like, maybe we like throw 3 questions at somebody, or I don't know if you remember what was it? The original Daily Show, didn't they have like 5 questions? Like, I'm talking about like.
Oh, you're going way back. You're going.
Like Craig
Craig
Kilborn.
Craig Kilborn.
Craig Kilborn was the original Daily Show, and then Jon Stewart came on after him.
Yep.
It was Craig Kilborn. 5 questions.
Craig Kilborn was a very brief run.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's even better? Can you remember the talks? You remember Talk Soup at all?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. To remember who was the original, and actually, this came up today. The Talk Soup, people, because yeah, here we go. The 5 hosts of Talk Soup. It was on E. When I was in college, we used to watch it every single day.
I can name several of them. There is John Henson.
He was okay.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yes.
All right. There is what's the
I don't know.
guy who was on Community? I can't remember.
Oh, Joe McHale.
Okay,
Joe
Joe McHale was the reboot of him, so he's 2.
Joe McHale.
Right? And then there is
John Henson. Yep, John Henson was the second host.
yes.
And Joe
Of,
McHale was
The first one was Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear was the first host. Yes, you're correct.
And
Greg
then
Kinnear was
there
the original host.
Aisha Tyler.
She was the last host of the original one, but there was somebody before Aisha and after John Henson.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
No. Aisha Tyler. Yeah, Aisha Tyler was the last one on E.
I can't remember who it was.
Hal Sparks.
What? Oh.
He did an entire season
After
after Henson left. He was the replacement for him.
he must have only been on through the end of that.
1 year, and Aisha did 1 year as well
Right.
too.
Yeah, I bet.
Actually, it's funny because I literally just had that conversation today too. So those are the 5 hosts of the of Talk Soup.
And then it went to the soup, and then that's when Joe McHale took over.
Yeah, he took over
Oh.
when it came to and then he did the reboot on Netflix.
Yes, and now they have someone else. I don't know if you saw that.
So
Yeah, they have someone else, and I can't remember who they are.
It's a female. Anyway,
but
so
5
Hamilton-
questions, ready to go.
So Hamilton, I would love to talk to you more, but we usually at this point wrap up.
Okay.
So, what we usually do is we usually do a review of our beers. So, can you go back over your beers and we usually rank them? I don't know. We usually rank them from whether we like them or not, or what were the best ones to the worst ones, or the worst ones to the best ones. So I don't know if you want to do that, but just review what you had to drink so everybody can see it.
So, in review, the Adroit Theory, Illusions of Safety. There goes a series. I enjoy all of them very well. It's kind of hard too because I went kind of in progression of thin to heavy.
Mm-hmm.
They have that one is extremely well. The Allagash and Commonwealth saison that they did, super funky. I mean, I love the funk. I love the funk, and that one was very funky. I mean, if you had to rank them, it would not be as high, but you've got to get into the funk with it. If you like the funk, you'll love it. And then lastly, I mean, the Christmas pancakes, from Hardywood. I mean, it is I probably need to Wilford Brimley myself because I'm about to get diabetes because the sugar content in this one is extremely high, but this is an amazing stout. The legs on it just falls off like syrup off of pancakes, and it's
Literally
extremely good. So, all 3 are great, and they all kind of, talk about the breadth of Virginia brewing. and it's not just in one area. It's across the entire state. And we've done very well in national competitions in those categories, and that's just kind of the thing that we do. I mean, the IPAs are going to be there, but a lot of things you got to dig deeper, and you got to get into brewers make in Virginia, and when we were in Montana, and when we were talking, and we've been to different places as well too with the brewers thing, that we go to every year. The IPAs and the hazy IPAs, they'll be there. Everybody's doing that. But if you mine into some breweries, you can find out how good they really are by doing like even the simplest stuff. Like today, my shipment came from Ardent. It was a Pilsner. They do Pilsners extremely well. They do IPAs well too, but you can tell how good a brewer is by the simple, good beers that they do. And getting those beers and when it's not just for Virginia, it's for anywhere you're at. You can find great beers mining down through that. And if you can drill down through it and you can find it, those are the people that know what they're doing. And to be honest, they're going to be the ones that are going to survive everything, because they're going to produce the really good beers no matter what happens on the other side of this, that will carry them forward. So for me, I like to see the breadth of somebody. Exactly. I love to see the breadth of everybody, and to get the beers that nobody's getting, because those are the people that are going to make it through.
Well, cheers to that.
Yeah.
And
sure.
Hamilton, thanks for being a fantastic guest. Thanks for bringing Virginia beer to everywhere. Thanks for educating us. Thanks for reminding me why I love The Answer. Oh man, that place is amazing. The food next door, it's just it's just too much. The Answer is too much. Actually, that's exactly what I think about it. It's
too much in a good way.
Absolutely.
So Hamilton, again, thanks. Do you want one last parting shot before we head on the road here?
Yeah, I mean, I just, for me, it's just like, hey, times are tough. It's tough for everybody, but it's tough for, your restaurants and your breweries around there. If you can support them, do what you can, and help those guys out, because it's not just when this thing ends, it's going to be when, it's going to be months, after that as well too, so, help them out as much as you possibly can. And, they and trust me, they appreciate it, to the T. So other than that, hey, everybody, cheers,
Cheers, Hamilton. And just like most of the guests we have during the pandemic, we love to have you back in the fall or early next year to talk about what's going on with Virginia breweries, which ones made it out of there. And also, we've been asking everybody you've answered this a couple times, so you don't have to answer now. But we've been asking everybody, what you can do to your breweries to help them, because breweries are, in my opinion, the mom and pop of today's world. So we need to support.
Thanks for making that clear, and thanks for being on, man. This has been great. Thank you.
Thanks, Hamilton. We'll see you soon. Take care. Stay safe.
All right.
Cheers.
Will do. Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
So, Doug, man, another fantastic guest. I love the regional part of this. I love when we can go to a region and someone can educate us on what is going on over there, because we can't go there. And we were just in Virginia, though.
Yeah, what was funny is he talked about Adroit Theory, and the only beer I've had from them was fantastic, but it's not, I haven't seen anything else of theirs. So it's like I was appreciating him talking about Hardywood. I knew
Hardywood.
One of my cousins lived in Richmond for a bit, and they just moved out to Colorado, but her and her husband had talked very highly about them. And then I found that I think it was in Peach Triple, and that was weird, like a peach, but it was good. It was really good. So yeah, I really appreciate getting the regional view on things. Like we've had a couple of folks from Atlanta and Georgia, like just getting regional views of stuff that, like, you know, as someone who's in upstate New York, I have a kind of very limited view of what I can get. It sounds silly because everybody thinks New York and, well, you're in New York. Yeah, I'm not in New York City. I'm in I'm way outside of New York City.
Well, New York is New York City, right?
Yeah,
right.
So everybody thinks that.
Right. It's correct. Correct.
And so let me do some rankings here because mine are going to be fast. Because
mine's going to be fast too.
Mine's, I have a pretty clear delineation. This sucked. Sorry, brewery, you're in Spain. You're not going to watch this. So
we got an international audience, man.
Yeah, but this sucked.
Well, the look on your face wasn't good, but you were diplomatic at that point.
I was very diplomatic at that point, but when I had more of it, I realized it wasn't good.
Okay.
So second place was the Berry Crunch. That was definitely interesting. The stout was very muted, but it was far more fruity. I would think you would want to try it. It might not be something you like, but
you know me, I'll try anything.
Yeah. So, but this cellared Russian Imperial Stout from that Polish brewery was fucking outstanding. That is really good, really smooth. Get all the Russian Imperial flavors and really, really great. How about you?
Killer Pills. Good Killer Pills. That's good.
Yeah.
Good. What's double IPA? Pretty good. Nothing.
That was a hazier version, yes.
Yeah, it was the high Sanda. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, and then this crazy peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Way at. Yeah, this is a good one. Unique. I'm almost done. I'm gonna finish this in post-production. But it's a thick one, it's a juicy one. Reminded me of a smoothie, so that was good. So as you see on the bottom there, next week is JHG. We call him JHG, you see his name there, so that's why I call him JHG. President of Home Dad Network. We'll get into all that next week. Obviously an organization I love. Helped me out in many deep times or deep trouble times. Got a lot of friends from there, so it should be fun.
Should be fun, man. Good dude.
And then we have Frickin' Ron next week before. Frickin' Ron. And then we have Jeremy Highland and Joe Gratzik, Beer Finder.
Yeah.
And somebody else too, but I'll tell you about that soon, I think. Have a good weekend, Doug. Anything going on crazy that you want to recap quick or no? Man. You're staying at home.
What?
You're staying at home.
Yeah, I am.
And it's snowing there, so
it was fucking snowing. God damn it!
You don't got much to shovel to stop.
Well, no, they're calling for 3 to 4 inches tonight at my house.
But you don't have anything to shovel. I was at your house.
I have a driveway to shovel. I don't have a snowblower.
You got cars in that drive. Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, you've not had to shovel wet snow that's fucking 18 inches deep when there's cars in the driveway because it's a shovel around them.
I'm just mad that I got ganged up on the top sheet thing, so I'm still kind of
but you have this expectation everybody's going to be, oh yeah, absolutely team top sheet.
Yeah, and
guess what, motherfucker, you aren't the only person that does.
Oh, again, just because you motherfuckers aren't logical ain't my fault. So it's cool.
How is that?
It's cool. It's cool.
Logical.
All right, enough.
I got
it. I love having a good guest though, because man, it just makes the time fly. So
I thought it was funny that we had somebody actually ask, because anybody asked the top sheet question.
Yes, man. It's important, dog. You don't understand.
It's only important if they agree with you and disagree with me, apparently. So
right. And
all right. So here's what's going to happen. The next time you come to my house, I'm going to have 5 top sheets.
You and Joe are going to pull out all the top sheets you didn't use. All
You're going to be on one bed.
Right.
Dude.
Right. all the
No company or just 5
Right.
top sheets.
here's our collection of top sheets that we've never used. That'd be great. I can put them one by
completely
one.
clean.
Peel
Never
them
been
off when hot. It's great. Don't test me with a good idea, man. Don't front. If you're gonna do that, you better do that shit.
next week will be 1 top sheet or 2.
Well, we already know JHG's top sheet answer, don't we?
What's that?
We know JHG's answer to top sheet, don't we? Or
Well, he said it. I don't remember what it was. We had a copious amount of drinks that evening, so
right. I think he agrees with me or he's not coming on.
I think you'll have another person kissing your ass, so it'll be great.
Oh, really? Is this what is am I the Trump administration now? Sorry.
Yep. When it
Right.
comes to top sheets, yes. Outside of that, no.
Oh, so I'm the dump of top sheets. Okay, that's
It's the only thing you're the Trump of. Be happy about that. I'm the Trump of 80s music. So how
yeah.
about
And on that note, I'm hitting end broadcast because this shit got to
that?
end. Bye.